Hi crafty friends, this is card number 22 in Full Deck Challenge 3. I have a few scraps lying around on my desk, so I think I'm going to use those as part of my mini collage. They're nice neutral colors and they're just lying there ready to be used. For my constant, I'm using postage stamps. I have these that are from a used envelope and I've been eyeing them out for a while. I think I'm going to use them today. I was going to cut them off, but then I thought, let me try and tear them. They are the old-fashioned type that aren't actually stickers. They are like the lick and stick, so they're peeling off really nicely. This second one did tear a bit, but I really love the way it tore at the bottom. It makes it look really used, and I can't wait to use it. For my carryover item from last week, I was quite torn about what to use. There was quite a few different elements, but I decided to go with the gold leaf. There's a little bit of gold in the stamp that I want to use, so that picks that up, and I might use some separate gold leaf too. Let's see how we go. This card, I'm going to start by adding a piece of white tissue paper over the face of the card. If you can see in the top right of my screen, there are some inks. The idea was to use some inks in the background. We'll see what happens about those. So I've added some Mod Podge to the face of the card, and then I've put the tissue paper over. This is the kind of tissue paper that you use for gift wrapping. And when I placed it down, I did push it with my fingers to create some wrinkles and some folds for some additional texture. I also added a layer of Mod Podge over the tissue paper, and then I'm going to dry it. I'm then going to add my pieces of collage in the background. I'm not going to cover the entire area. I do want the 9 of diamonds to show somewhere, so I'm going to place a few pieces. I'm going to have some hanging off the card. It's not going to be everything to the edge of the card. This one is going to overspill with elements. And I know everyone is waiting very anxiously for next week's prompt, so I will tell you now, the prompt for next week is repeat. So I've stuck down my collage, and I've also stuck the stamp in the middle as part of the collage. I'm going to tear off the excess tissue paper very roughly all the way around. I'm going to add a little bit of masking tape for some additional color and texture to the background as part of the collage. I'm going to go in with some white gesso, just using my finger. This will soften the background and blend some of those collage paper edges. My original idea was to add some inks to the background. I've got the neutral vintagey tones ready, but once I added all this gesso, I actually quite liked the way the card looked just like this, and I actually decided not to use the inks. There is a term I use quite often where I say, I let the page tell me what to do next. I let the elements on the page lead me. And this is an exact example of what I'm talking about. I had the inks ready. I was going to use them. It was part of the plan. But when I got to this point, I really liked the way the card looked, and it was telling me, don't add anything more. So I listened and I left it like this. The prompt for this week was cut it up. I opted for tearing, so I'm going to tear my card in half. This is to allow you to get out of your comfort zone and release the fear of making a mistake, and also to give you a different perspective of how a card can look. Look at those yummy textures in between where I have torn it. I'm going to attach my card top to bottom and slightly to the side. It's not going to be aligned. It's going to look like this. To attach the two pieces, I'm going to use my sewing machine. I'm going to use black thread and lots of stitching. I want it to be bold and visible. I love chaotic pieces like this. For my focal point, I found this leaf with beautiful colors in this collage book. This is by Collage Soup. I'll put a link to their website in the description box below. I'm going to cut out this leaf and see how I'm going to place it onto my card because it's pretty big. While I was cutting it, I did accidentally snip off the one leaf. That's okay. We can patch it up when we attach it to the card. I think it needs something behind it to elevate it. So I'm going to add some gold leaf. Using a glue stick, I'm going to add it onto the section where I want the gold leaf, and then I want to press the fine gold sheets over that. I wasn't sure which way to do it. I did try it both ways just to see which one was more balanced, but I ended up going with the way I'd put it first. But a little more gold leaf will be needed. The top left is a little too open and plain. I want to add something for contrast. I'm decided to go with black, and I'm going to use my script stamp and black permanent ink and just make one stamp in the top left. I've used black to correspond with the black thread I've used, and there's a little bit of black in the leaf that I'm using, so that helps it all connect. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to glue it down. I'm using Mod Podge, it's sort of my standard adhesive on my desk, but I'm not putting glue all the way to the edge of the leaves. I want the main part to obviously stick down, but I am going to curl the leaf edges up to give it more of a 3D look. The leaf felt a little flat to me at this point, and I wanted to elevate it slightly. I decided to add some white splatter, but literally just a few drops. I'm using acrylic ink in the color titanium white and a very thin paintbrush and putting just a few drops. The white of the drops will pick up from the white of the background, and it sort of, I feel, connects all the elements together and makes it all harmonious. Otherwise it looked like just a leaf stuck on top of everything. Let me show you a close-up of the card so you can see all the beautiful textures and details. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I really hope you enjoyed it and were inspired to create your own and maybe even join in my full deck challenge if you haven't already. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thanks again for watching. Happy creating. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.